Hello, my name is Janelle White. I'm with Vila Business Academy. In this session, we're going to talk about the 80-20 rule and how to break the 80-20 rule. The 80-20 rule was written a long time ago, and it basically said the action of many gives the results of few. And I like to think of the 80-20 rule in this way. 80% of your activities, the physical things that you do, will generate 20% of your revenue. So I ask my clients all the time, if you spent 80% of your time, money, and resources and got 20% results, what would that do to your business? Let's flip that around a little bit. What if 20% of your time, money, and resources generated 80% of your income? What would that do for your business? Well, I'm going to give you some tips to help flip that 80-20 rule around for you. The first thing you need to understand is that opportunities are not the same for everyone. Everyone is different and every business is unique. So you need to find the uniqueness in your business and find your unique opportunities. Remember when we talked about the Cup of Joe and the Coffee Divas? They were both selling coffee, but you really want to come up with your own idea. Cup of Joe was really not competing with the Coffee Divas. He really wasn't. His demographics was different. It was just a different product. So I want you to think of that. He was seizing an opportunity that was unique to him. So let's talk about a couple of companies. We're going to talk about some big companies so we can get some really good example. Coca-Cola over the years, and they're a long-lasting company. So if you Google them and look at their advertisement, I really encourage you to do so because it will be really informative for you to understand how this works. So if you Google Coca-Cola and look at their campaigns over the years, you will notice a big shift in who their target market was. Years ago, it was really Norman Rockwell type sales that they did. It was family, it was kids, it was fun, and Coca-Cola matured over the years. Pretty soon they're singing on a hilltop, we are all one, right? And then they're selling Coca-Cola in bikinis, right? Which is a far cry from the Norman Rockwell that they sold years ago. So if you look at the progression of Coca-Cola and how they've positioned themselves through that, you'll see that they have shifted. They were looking for the majority in the beginning. In the family, they were looking for the majority. In the bikini, they're looking for the few. So I wanted you to think about that. Nike has shifted their campaigns too. Has anybody seen the new ads for Nike? Really go on the internet, go on YouTube, do Nike commercials, and you'll really see Nike has changed and shifted over the years. It used to be just do it, right? That's what the Nike logo is. You will notice a huge difference in the Nike campaigns and what they're doing. Insurance companies also have really shifted. It used to be very transactional, and now they've moved to more transformational. They want to get to know you. Even Geico, which is a complete online, they have very few satellite offices. They're getting more, but they have very few satellite offices. Even Geico is moving to a transformational. They're trying to get to know you, trying to build a relationship with you. And the massage industry has really shifted. So now that you notice that, what are they selling? Who are their customers and how are they selling to? You can really take a look at how they've broken out from the 80 to the 20. Let me give you some more examples. I believe that there are three kinds of customers in a small business. There's your A clients, that's your premium clients. And there's your B clients. And your B clients are people that may or may not use you. I call them occasional users. They occasionally might use your products and services, but they're not loyal to you and they may use your competitors. And then you have your high maintenance. Your high maintenance really will take 80% of your time, money, and resources. These are the people that pay late or are high maintenance. They are constantly complaining. They need a lot of your time and resources, and they even might be nice people. You might even like them. I teach my clients how to shift it from spending 80% of their time with their high maintenance babes and moving it to your premium clients. So let me give you a couple of tips. The first thing you need to do is really go through your customer base and look at your customers. Who are your premium clients? What is a physical description of them? What do they look like? What is the common threads through all of your premium clients? You need to also look at your high maintenance. What are the common threads with them? If you focus on 100% of your clients, you're going to include your high maintenance. High maintenance generally has a very different description than your premium clients. So focus on your premium clients. They're the ones that are going to build your business. And if you focus more on your premium clients and recruiting more of them, then you will have less time for your high maintenance. The trick is understanding who is more likely to buy your products and services. Let me give you an example. I knew a business that high maintenance clientele was their premium client. It was an interesting concept. I'd never seen it before. So I got to know her and ended up doing some consulting for her after a while. And this is what she said. She said, all of those people that, it was a mortgage broker, and she says, all those people that can't get funds today are my future clients. They may be able to get a loan down the road in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. And she says, I work with them. I keep on base with them. So she had a staff member that called her list of high maintenance people every week, every month, every 6 months, every year, to make sure that they were doing what they're supposed to. She did an annual meeting where she brought them all in and said, y'all have bad credit, and this is how we're going to fix it, and this is what you're going to do. And she made them sign a contract. I promise to follow these rules, and if I do, I'll get a house, right? That's pretty inventive, right? I went, well, that's pretty good. What's your success ratio? And she goes, I have a huge success ratio. She says, 80% of my clients buy a house if they follow my program. And she doesn't guarantee when, because the credit process takes into consideration. But she makes them sign a contract. If I do this and this, and they do, and they come to her classes and they listen to her and she listens to them. And it was an amazing business. So you can have a really great business of high maintenance people. But she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was getting into. And she knew that they would be loyal to her. She was buying their loyalty. So anybody that was in her client base, if you asked them, who would you go get a mortgage with? Guess what they would all say? Hands down, go see her. Don't go to anyone else. She's faithful. She's wonderful. She, does this. So she's helped me and nobody else would. And what kind of testimonials is she producing over the course of time? So I want you to think about that. Your premium clients can be everybody else's high maintenance, just to let you know. Remember, when you're taking your 80-20 rule, is being too broad, being too diverse can really affect those odds as well. Not just your customer base, your A's, your B's, and your C's, but also your strategy, your marketing strategy, your business strategy. If you're too diverse with your business, you're going to have a hard time commanding that 20% of your effort generate 80%. You'll be back to the 80-20 the opposite way. So if you spend all your time, money, and resources trying to educate everybody about everything you do, you're going to struggle. So I encourage you to focus down, narrow it in, and get some revenue in. Add products and services as needed. Having a strategic plan will allow you to engage referral partners, natural partners, and strategic partners. And we're going to talk about that in the leadership portion of the series. It's really important to engage people who will help build your business. I call them building business partners. So reducing your 80-20, I talk to my clients and I say, how can we reduce this down and spend more of my time with my A clients and less time with my C clients? Well, you can do that by qualifying your customers. People go, what do you mean by that? And I go, qualify your customers. One of the first things I ask my clients is, are you coachable? Are you open to suggestions? Or do you really have to have it the way you need it to have it? If you do, if you know everything, I have nothing to teach. So you have to be open to that. By creating an interview process, you can create very specific questions for your customers. You can say, what is important to you? And interview them and qualify them. If you qualified all of your customers, how many of them, if you recognize these are my A's, these are my C's, right? And I had an interview question that indicated these are my A's and these are my C's, I may not want to recruit my C's, right, into my business because I know that they're going to be the life drawn out of me with their business, the way they conduct their business. This will allow you to be thoughtful and reflective and be the expert. If you have multiple lines of business that are very diverse, you'll want to have different sections on each product and service. So let me tell you a story about a high maintenance gal and that we had. I'm actually going to tell you two stories real quick because I think it will be beneficial for you to learn from this. So I had a client and she had a day spa and clients would come in and they would sit in the waiting room and then they would be taken back by the receptionist. And she says, Janelle, I'm getting lower cells and I don't know what to do. And she says, I really need your help. And I says, okay. And so we had a meeting and I arrived early and I thought, well, I'll just jump on my phone and catch up on some email real quick and send some messages real quick. I'll just sit in her air-conditioned office rather than out in the hot sun. So I went in and I said, oh, I'm here early. I'm just going to sit in the front. And she says, okay. And so as I sat there, this woman came in and she was arguing with the receptionist and she was angry and she was heated and the woman next to me goes, oh brother, and gets up and walks out. And the woman was very agitated, using foul language. Another woman rolled her eyes and I went, well, I think I know what the problem is. So I said to the business owner, I says, I would like to see your appointment book. And she says, okay. And I said, this person, was that the person just here? And she said, yes. And I says, I want you to look before and after her appointments. And I want you to call all of those people and find out what their experience of your office was. And she said, why? And I go, I know what their experience was. I just experienced it. So she did, and it was a negative experience, right? And I says, well, let's do an incentive. Let's say, gosh, we're really sorry that was your experience, or it wasn't our intention. We, understand that she was that way and we apologize for you. Please, let's give them an incentive to come back in. So we did. And we got some of the customers back, not all of them. And she says, what do I do about her? And I said, well, there's a couple things you can do. One of them things you can do is you can fire her. You can fire her and say, I'm sorry, we're booked today. I'm sorry, we're booked today, until she finds someone else. The other thing you can do is you can have an honest conversation with her and go, it's not acceptable in my business, and I appreciate your business. You've been a long-standing customer of ours, but I'm sorry, you cannot act like that in front of and protect the staff, We had a long conversation with the receptionist, and the receptionist says, she is so mean to me. But the owner didn't realize that. She didn't understand that the receptionist was unhappy and the customers waiting were unhappy and anybody that saw this woman was unhappy. So it was really a bad thing. So I says, we can, tell her you've been inappropriate. You can come at the very end of business and that's it. Like you can come at the end of the day or that's it. That's the only time slot you may have. And I says, or you can train her how to be a good customer. And I says, the choice is yours. And she says, how do I train her to be a good customer? And I says, well, you start by setting some parameters and some boundaries. She's not allowed to speak loudly. She's not allowed to be rude, and she's not allowed to use cuss words in your facility. The first time she does it, she's out the door. And I says, the problem is you've allowed this. You created this and now you've allowed it. And I said, if you had set the boundary early on, she wouldn't have been this way. Turns out that they did work on it a little bit, and then eventually the customer went away. So why do you think the customer went away? Customer went away because it wasn't comfortable anymore. It wasn't comfortable for her. One customer is not worth 5 or 10. Learning that is really hard for small businesses. They need every penny they can get, and so they hold on to their little high maintenance babes with both hands, and they don't realize that they're losing money because they do that. So let go of your high maintenance. Set some parameters right in the beginning. Teach them how to be good customers, and they will be better customers. My name's Janelle White. I'm with Vila Business Academy. I look forward to seeing you in our next session.